Hello folks, Night Shift 10,000 back again, and I've decided today I'm not going to do a video. Instead, I'm going to read you all a story. It's called Porn and the Presidency, Scandals of the Trump, Volume 1 of 10. Page 1. It was a dark and stormy Daniels. And wait, what? You all don't want me to read the book, you want me to do the video instead? Fine, let's get to the damn video. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Night Shift 10,000 here, back from the Betty Ford Clinic. What was I doing there? Don't ask questions, you'll be happier later. But I got back and I decided, I got to make some more videos, I got to make some more content. But what to make content about? Well, we need to do a little history on my life. You see, I love the Cyberpunk franchise. I've loved it from the tabletop board game iterations all the way to now when they're making a game about it, an actual computer game based on Cyberpunk. Let me explain it. The Cyberpunk franchise consumed a lot of my younger life. I mean, I loved the tabletop iterations of Cyberpunk 2013, Cyberpunk 2020, and even the third edition, Cyberpunk 2021. That was the last of it. Unfortunately, there were some major flaws with that game. But I'm getting off track. They actually just announced that, they announced it years ago, that there was going to be a Cyberpunk game, a Cyberpunk computer game, actually. And it was going to be Cyberpunk 2077. This got me going, and I mean seriously. I had always wanted to see this game done in actual computer game format and done well. There had been other games like this with the Shadowrun games. The one on Genesis, namely, was my favorite, but again, I'm getting off track. The Cyberpunk franchise has always had, it's always been near and dear to my heart, I guess. And I've just loved it to pieces, and I wanted to see how this would turn out. However, in some of its iterations, a lot of people have been saying that this game is actually anarcho-capitalist, or at least the genre is anarcho-capitalist. And to be fair, I kind of agreed with that. I argued that Cyberpunk 2077 was a good look into anarcho-capitalist world theory, or that it was actually a look into Ancapistan. But I was in fact wrong about this, and here's why. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm going to play this game. Hell, I'm going to play the ever-loving shit out of this game. I am going to deflower it. But there are some issues that I feel have to be acknowledged, and I honestly don't think the game designers were going for an anarcho-capitalist perspective, but I've heard a lot of people saying that it does look anarcho-capitalist. And again, I agreed with that. But I was wrong, and they are wrong, and we're going to get into that. So hold on, motherfuckers. We're going balls deep.
In 2077, they voted my city the worst place to live in America. Main issues.
Wow, a city out there actually beat Detroit, huh? I'm sorry. We'll get into this.
Sky-high rate of violence, and more people living below the poverty line than anywhere else.
All right, getting on top of this first thing, poverty is an effect of government and corporate interventions in the economy, with taxation, regulations, restrictions of commerce, and laws on things like prohibitionary measures, which result in economic downfall, lack of education and economic production, disease outbreaks, and many other things. Anarcho-capitalism, being anarchist, has none of these control measures, restrictions, or laws. So it stands to reason that in an Ancap society without these controls, there would not be high rates of poverty and violence. I'm not saying there wouldn't be any, but it wouldn't be anywhere as terrible as what is being implied here.
Can't deny it, it's all true. But everybody still wants to live here. This city's always got a promise for you. Might be a lie, an illusion, but it's there.
Government and corporate lies, they're also paper thin, and yet people just keep falling for them. Wonder if there's some psychological premise to that. Maybe in another video.
Just around the corner, and it keeps you going.
Now, a lot of what we are seeing here with the flying cars, robots, advanced weaponry, and bodily augmentations are generally things that you would see in an Ancap society. Anarcho-transhumanism is something very real, and one could almost call it the Ancapism of the future. The criminal and corporate control elements, as they were, are things you wouldn't see as often, however.
It's a city of dreams, and I'm a big dreamer.
Oh, I can tell, as am I. Believe me, I'm going to have so much fun playing this game. I mean, so much fun. Wait, what the hell? Can we go back just for a second there? Cyber hillbillies? This game's got motherfucking cyber hillbillies in it? Oh, man. So, wait a minute, hold on. Christian fundamentalists are still a thing in this universe? Oh, crap. Maybe it's not that great after all. Now, that last little bit with the botched store robbery and the store owner shooting a robber and then menacing the other robber, that is something you would see happen quite a bit in Ancapistan to anyone stupid enough to try a robbery, kidnapping, or otherwise violent offense against others. However, thing about Ancapistan is you are completely free to defend yourself as you see fit. And unlike here in the United States, you wouldn't be prosecuted for defending yourself from violent attackers in any way. There's something that I want to point out about that last little scene we all just saw right there. It happened pretty quickly, but you can see that that was a MedTech hover ambulance crew opening fire on a gang. A gang that had more than likely kidnapped one of their customers to dissect them for parts. In an Ancap society, you'd probably see something like this happening as well, where even private medical teams would be well enough equipped to save lives that they could fight off entire violent gangs. And more than likely, they would fight just as fiercely to save your life in that situation, because if you, a customer, dies, they don't get paid. And their reputation takes a major, tremendous hit. With government-controlled medical care on all fronts, there isn't this incentive to keep you alive and well, as they get paid either way. And the private med techs would more than likely fight that hard to get you, a loyal customer, out of a bad situation. Oh my god, I want that fucking car so bad. No! No. Night shift. Focus. To be released in the year 2077. God damn it, guys, seriously, can you get this game out already? Whoa. Where's everyone going? We're not done here yet, not by a long shot, ladies and gentlemen. There was another video that came out where a guy reviewed a more recent trailer on this game, and I'm going to critique the commentary. Plus, we are going to see more recent footage of this game and how it works. Yeah, can anyone else say, fuck yeah, motherfucker? Well, shit, that's a bleak assessment of this game. You know, I wouldn't say that Cyberpunk 2077 is terrifying by any measure of the imagination. And no, that doesn't matter at all. It's a game. Good God.
Here. If you're anything like me, you've probably been watching the Cyberpunk gameplay video on a loop for several weeks.
Well, yes, I too fell in love with the new footage from the new trailers, but let's see where you're going here.
After years of silence and secrecy, we finally caught our first glimpse of CD Projekt Red's latest RPG. And even a hopeless cynic like me has to admit, it's pretty impressive so far. But amidst all the hype, you may have forgotten a small but important detail. The world of Cyberpunk is terrifying.
Again, wouldn't call it terrifying, but let's see where you're going with this.
Now I know what you're thinking. It's the cyberpunk genre. You'd expect things to be a little dystopian. But it's rare that I see a gameplay video so full of lore, details, and world building, so proud and unapologetic of its own world, and so immersive with its gritty atmosphere. This video was dense, and all these little details were meant to leave you with a very specific impression. Night City is fucking scary. In this video,
Well, here's the thing. Night City isn't really that much more terrifying than any other large, overpopulated city that you will find in the United States or otherwise. Really, it kind of breaks even.
I want to analyze what made the Cyberpunk video so effective, what its focus was, what its goal was, and how it achieved these goals through narrative, context, and atmosphere. So what makes the world of Night City so terrifying? How did the video get this message across? What can it teach us about world building? Well, let's take a look. The video begins with a missing persons case. The player's character named V is sent on a mission to rescue a girl kidnapped for her cybernetics. What follows is a shootout worthy of any modern FPS, but it's the world building in this scene that really got me intrigued. Turns out, if you're one of the super rich, you get access to a militarized platinum healthcare plan.
Okay, this much is true. In the world of Cyberpunk, the wealthy and upper class can receive better private healthcare plans than other people, as it is in the real world. Why this is not reminiscent of an anarcho-capitalist society is without taxation and overhead costs being taken from the populace by the government, more of the populace would be able to afford these types of programs. The rescue team in this video is there to save one person. In Ancapistan, they would be there to save all those people. Or several rescue teams from different companies would be working together as one to accomplish the rescue mission.
Get a chip in your brain that tracks your location at all times, and if you ever suffer serious illness or injury, a trauma team will be flown to your location. These medics are armed and authorized to kill anyone who gets in their way. After the player fixes the tracking device in the victim's head, the trauma team arrives in minutes.
Yeah, they arrive quicker and better equipped than a regular ambulance team. What's wrong with this scenario?
Once they land on the scene, they treat the player like garbage and threaten to shoot her if she gets too close.
Yes, in the trailer, the med team was pretty tightly wound. This is obviously a side effect of either inefficient government deployment, much like our public servants and first responders, or it is a side effect of corporate management problems. In an Ancap society, these people would more than likely not suffer from these, the side effects of corporatistic processes, and would even work largely together to make sure they accomplished a unified mission of saving lives.
This is when things really started getting interesting for me. The way they dehumanize the life of the player while treating their client like a queen is one of the—
Wow, geez, don't shoot your own argument in the foot there, buddy. Yes, they do treat the rescue team member like a piece of shit. I just mentioned why in an Ancap society this would not happen. But on your comment, yes, they do also treat the client like a queen because they know their clients are where the money is coming from. Now, I'm going to play devil's advocate here and mention something. One of the members of the medical team shouts, "Get the bitch on the stretcher," and it's just that rough. So, no, they don't totally treat their clients like kings and queens. But this is due to the fact that they are more than likely corporately backed and not a free market business that is largely subject to how they also treat their clients.
the most impactful moments of the video, and we learn so much about this world in just the first scene. In Night City, your life is worthless unless you're wealthy.
Wait, what? No! Okay, you got that completely wrong. It's not about your life being worthless or priceless based on your wealth or income. It's about the fact that nothing in this world is for free and that everything costs something. Usually medical costs like this and pay to ambulance workers and other responders that have been nationalized by government is taken from taxpayer dollars. So let me ask you and everyone, if you are not paying taxes or if you can't pay taxes, does that mean that your life is worthless? No, absolutely not. It's about cost, supply, and demand, and has nothing to do with the intrinsic worth of a person. You couldn't have gotten that more wrong. I'm sorry.
It's so widespread that even the doctors carry assault rifles. The concept of privacy is an afterthought, with people willingly plugging tracking devices into their brains. Welcome to Night City. You don't want to live here. But wait, let's step back for a moment. We just found a naked woman in a bathtub. Gangsters were about to strip her for parts like a used car. Why would the super rich hire 2 mercenaries to rescue who I assume is their daughter?
Because, quite obviously, they work better than police. Even in our current society.
Where the hell are the police?
That's a good question. Where are the government-funded nationalized police when you need them in Cyberpunk 2077 and in reality? Well, like in reality, they're completely fucking worthless. They only police certain zones, and if someone lives outside of that zone, they are completely on their own. Plus, police, even when crimes are reported, rarely make any progress or do any work to solve said crime, and will almost universally avoid dangerous investigations. But that's just the way it is here in America. Oh wait, I mean Germany. Oh wait, no, I mean France. Oh wait, no, I mean Norway. No wait, I mean Australia. No wait, I mean Denmark. No, sorry. God, no, I mean in Night City. Yeah, if you still don't believe me, here, look at this. Yes, truly, public servants doing this world good. Oh, God. I'd rather have the private rescue team, thank you very much.
If you paid attention to the video, you were probably asking this question a lot. At no point in this initial quest are the police even referenced. No one bothers to call them.
Oh no, they were more than likely called, they just never responded. Business as usual.
No one is afraid of them barging in on a shootout in an apartment complex. When the paramedics arrive, there's no SWAT team or even a beat cop to support them. Hell, even a drive-by shooting in broad daylight isn't enough to get the cops on your tail.
Okay, unless I missed something about reality, cops don't just appear out of thin air. They don't just come instantly. In fact, they very rarely ever come at all, kind of like what I was saying.
Indeed, whether it's shady mercenaries, armed paramedics, or private military contractors, it seems the free market has largely replaced the police.
And this is a bad thing. Why? Looks like those private security and everything else are working way better than our public servants. Just saying.
Sure, we see 1 or 2 in the video, but they're barely a factor. Not only that, but according to the lore, most police forces are funded by private entities.
Oh wow, so they're corporate cops. Kind of like corporate mercenaries. I wouldn't have expected any less from a corporatist system that is not anarcho-capitalist.
In the world of Cyberpunk, the cops don't answer to the people or even the government.
Oh wow, they are like regular cops, not answering to the people and rarely answering to the government. Basically, all they have to do is run a show investigation or get on the witness stand and tell the judge, "I feared for my life," while crying some crocodile tears, and they get acquitted of all charges like that. Yeah, real fair and responsible, isn't it?
They answer to the highest bidder. Even at the end of the video, after a major shootout in an abandoned warehouse, there isn't a cop in sight. Instead, we're confronted with the city's true masters. So with this apparent vacuum left by the government, who's running things? I'll give you one guess. Night City is a plutocracy. While this is a common theme in the cyberpunk genre, the video made sure to hammer this in at every turn. Corporations control industry, the government, and most importantly, the law.
Well, there you go, my dear audience. That is corporatism defined.
Not only that, but according to the lore, the corporations funded the construction of Night City. They literally own this town. When the player first encounters these corpos, they're equipped with armored cars, advanced cybernetics, and a small army of guards. The player tries to strike a deal with these guys, but she's quickly overwhelmed. They immediately interrogate the player and even threaten to murder her if she doesn't cooperate. They've also kidnapped one of their co-workers who they suspect has double-crossed them. This is just an average Tuesday for these guys. The entire time, the lady in charge appears to be scared, anxious, strung out even. She's not afraid of the law. She's
kind of like the med team. Yeah, there's a pattern here. It's called corporate management and inefficiency at its finest. That is corporatism.
Afraid of her bosses. After they effortlessly hack the player's brain to determine if she's lying, they form an uneasy truce. The corpo boss sends you into a death trap, which results in dozens of casualties. After the bloodbath, she appears with an armed convoy to congratulate you. She encourages you to work with them in the future. If you do, then one day you might be as successful as her. The boss leaves the player with some parting words that sum up the world of Cyberpunk. Only the corp gets what it wants. But we all expect this stuff from a cyberpunk game. Militarized healthcare, societal decay, anarcho-capitalism.
Nope. Nope. This is not anarcho-capitalism. This is corporatism. The whole premise of this game's plot is literally corporatism defined. Corporatism, the control of a state or organization by large interest groups and corporations. While anarcho-capitalism is a political philosophy and school of anarchist thought that advocates the elimination of centralized state dictum in favor of self-ownership, private property, and free markets. Night City looks similar to an Ancap society, I'll give you that. But if it were Ancap, it would look more like maybe Hangshaw from Deus Ex Human Revolution. Now, what I mean by it being like Hangshaw is there would be far more commerce and small business activity, and true competition between smaller businesses that are more subject to their customers who will vote with their dollars on whether that business will do well or go under. I know what people are going to say, though, about the Hangshaw example. But Night Shift, there was that side mission where that guy's family paid off that private security company to cover up for their son committing a murder. Well, my dear audience, the fact is, in real life, in an ANCAP society, this is very unlikely to happen. As if word of that ever got out, that private security company would be ruined, literally, as people would stop using their services and they would go under. It would be in their best interest to refuse bribes and honor their contracts, even when their own customers commit violent offenses. And I know what you're going to ask. Private security companies arresting their own clients if they become criminals? How do you expect that to happen? Well, it would have to be on us to hold them to it. Their own customers and even outside parties would have to hold them to the whole arrangement and universally say, if we use you and your company, then you will have to come down on people who become violent offenders and make that a violation of your contracting with your clients. And you will also work with third-party investigation companies if there is a dispute with another private security company. And if you think that's far-fetched, let me ask, did that or did that not work for Carfax? Look, I get that private security is risky, and there are dangers associated with a private security system completely independent of government oversight, and that is completely subject to the people. But I personally would take the risks of private security over this any day of the week. Now, on the dangers of an anarcho-capitalist society, as I mentioned earlier about the societal elements in this game's plot, in an ANCAP society, the majority of the population would be armed to the teeth most of the time and encouraged to self-defend. This game didn't really capture that very well. However, very few Cyberpunk games actually do, which is surprising. However, there is a Cyberpunk game that did capture this element quite well. It was called Mindjack, and yes, if you've ever played that game, I know it was terrible. But it did capture this ANCAP self-defense element excellently. But I'll let Angry Joe's review explain.
You can do that, but for some reason, every civilian has a shotgun up their ass that they whip out when you take control of them. What are we in, Detroit? Though I gotta admit, it makes for some pretty funny gameplay when you're playing as a 12-year-old girl and you defeat a 25-foot tall mech and heavily trained and armored security personnel.
So yeah, it's kind of like that. Not so much with the mindjacking part, but with everyone, or at least the majority of people, being armed and ready to defend themselves at a moment's notice in an ANCAP society. Even potentially children would be armed against violent attackers such as pedophiles, kidnappers, molesters, and the like. The elements of advanced technology would definitely be there as well, with the robotics, nanotechnology, and yes, you guessed it, because we apparently hate the roads, the flying cars would be there too. Oh, come on, you all knew I was going to make this reference. What kind of Ancap would I be if I didn't? Huh, guess we don't have that one.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Oh, come on. Y'all knew I was just fucking with y'all. Now, before I end this video, I want to reiterate that I am not rebuking this game. Far from it. I plan to have so much fun with this game, it's not even funny. I am going to waste so many hours playing this game, and I actually endorse this whole project. If CD Projekt Red ever needs a test player, please call me up. I would love nothing more than to test play this game and to get into it early. This is just a critique of those calling this game's plot anarcho-capitalist. Believe me, I love the look of this game and I cannot wait to play it. I just pray that it will not take until 2077 to get it out. Well, that's all for this one. Night Shift 10,000 and I am out.